multiples lit and the signal's tight. For static fades, I twist the knob. The shack comes alive, this is my job. LEDs glow, antennas high. Another night beneath the sky. I'm calling out, hear that tone. Across the globe, I'm not alone. The net's alive and I'm checking in. Let the conversation begin. More at the Amateur Radio Roundtable. We're all plugged in, solid and stable. W5KUB's calling loud and proud, spinning stories through the static cloud. From W5GP to you and me, 7BG. We're rocking the bands, wild and free. Glenn's got mods on a breadboard bass. Brett's breaking news from a distant place. Tom's at the helm like a seasoned vet, streaming it live on the internet. Antenna swing, the skip is long. We're singing the ham radio song. Spin that dial, let's catch some heat. 40 meters never felt so sweet. Oh, at the Amateur Radio Roundtable, with coax lines and power cables. The expeditions, QSLs, we've got more ham than a southern belle. From KW5GP to you and me, 7BG. We're working the world, wild and free. Rockin', we're over the rear, then you're the round table. Story strong and signal stable. So key it up and call your name in this wild RF Hall of Fame. From KW5GQ and me, we're hamming hard 7-3. Da, 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 da. Out.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Amateur Radio Roundtable, a show about ham radio, shortwave, electronics, physics, and all sorts of other interesting technology. This is Brett Glass, WI7BG, filling in for Tom Medlin, who unfortunately is still recovering from surgery and does not have his voice back yet. I'd like to say hello to all of our shortwave listeners who are on the world-famous WBCQ on 7490 kilohertz. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, join our Facebook group for ham radio, which is called Amateur Radio Roundtable on Facebook, or simply search for W5KUB on Facebook. Tonight, we will be talking about storms and lightning protection and Hamfests. Because Tom is not in the studio tonight, we are using a backup app for the show, and I'm hosting it from Wyoming tonight. There may be some technical glitches, so please hang in there with us as we work through them. Well, let's first check in with Glenn tonight. How are you doing, Glenn?
Oh, I'm doing real good. As you know, I missed last week too. I think we all did. Had to pay a little visit to the doctors, and interestingly enough, things turned out better than expected, which is a rare thing for me and doctors. So it's nothing big, but get to go do another follow-up. So we're almost finished with the doctors for quite a while now. But outside of that, I've been working on the new book, which is an update to this book. It will have a new title of Microwave Networking for Amateur Radio. And hoping to finish that in the next week or two or three or four, something very similar to that. Just compiling everything right now. So been working on that a lot, and of course took a break and went to the Mina Hamfest over in Mina, Arkansas, that we'll talk about in a few minutes. But outside of that, just pretty much every day's the same right now.
Ah, well, here in Wyoming, things are also pretty much the same every day. We have it's getting to be fall, and so the days are getting a little crisper. I live down the block from the University of Wyoming, so there are football games and all sorts of and all sorts of hoopla surrounding those. Their homecoming game is this coming weekend, and that's going to be that's going to make life interesting in town. Not a good idea to try to get restaurant reservations or anything.
No.
And yep, and today we had a little fun. We had a little bit of weather. It was pleasant this afternoon, and then suddenly, about maybe 4:30 p.m., the sky opened, and this is what we saw. Suddenly, all of this rain, all of this hail, and it was pea-sized hail all over the place. You can see it accumulated like a snowstorm.
Wow.
It was pretty dramatic, and so we had a lot of fun. My wireless internet service provider mostly came through it with no problems, except that there were power glitches and power failures, and well, the power company took long enough to restore the power that the batteries ran out. And so there was a little bit of little bit of an outage there, but nothing that we could do short of setting up a generator. And well, that's mostly what's going on here in Wyoming. Just hoping for. I'm hearing a lot of background noise. Is everything okay there?
Yeah, it's on you. Everything's quiet here.
Huh? I don't know, but
It's totally quiet here.
I don't know. Okay, well, again, technical difficulties, but again, things are just sort of like a typical Wyoming fall, and I'm getting things set up. I've mounted the antenna that Tom gave me for GMRS, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the lightning protection that I've set up for that, which may very well have saved the brand new transceiver this evening. And Glenn has some photos of the Mina Hamfest, which I'm looking forward to because it's always fun to see what goes on there. Apparently, there was some dramatic fog there.
Yeah, it was an interesting trip to say the least. It was actually it's kind of a unique Hamfest. It's on Friday and Saturday, and I went for both days because, hey, Tom wasn't going to be there and Joe Eisenberg wasn't going to be there, so I actually stood a chance at winning something.
Yeah.
So I was there for both days. And it has since changed. We were at 94 degrees again today. But if you're ready for the pictures, I can share the screen and we can get going. Or if you wanted to continue on with something else first.
Well, let's do that.
All right. Let's see here.
Yes.
Figure out which window all of this stuff is in. It's not up yet. There we go. Let's try this. There we go.
Okay.
Okay. And there we go. Should see it any second there.
Here we are.
Okay. This was at Queen Wilhelmina State Park Lodge on top of the mountain out there. I forget the mountain's name, but it's in the Queen Wilhelmina State Park. And as you can see, the entrance to the park has this old steam locomotive there. And it's really a cool place. And they also had one of these little small-scale railroads, trains to drive around. And lots of folks rode that during the weekend. And last time I remember seeing one of those was as a kid down in Florida. Every time we went to the zoo, we had to ride theirs. So that was a trip down memory lane to see that, but that was kind of cool. You can see the mountains off in the distance there. Now, this was Friday, and this is one of the tents. They actually had two large tents set up. This is setting up on Friday, and there's the second tent. And then we're inside some of the vendors there. These were really kind of cool antennas. Limited space 80 and 160 half slopers and some VHF and UHF antennas. Lot of good junk. And in fact, that triplet down there on the bottom center left, I actually picked up. Really gorgeous old triplet meter. And then, of course, you had, I believe that was Texas Radio was there with all their stuff. They had those tables piled to the ceiling with stuff. And then, of course, they had a lot of the older gear. A lot of Heathkit and Collins stuff. Really nice looking radios. I mean, that one's just about as clean as you can get. And then they had a Flex 5000 for sale. And then there's some of the Collins KWM2. And a little bit of everything. And then there's the rest of the Collins gear. He had the complete setup.
Fine.
Really looks sweet. And then there's even more to it that he had. And then good old Heathkit DX60, along with a couple good meters on either side. This was definitely a Hamfest that I could have loaded up the car and been happy with. And then here's some cool things. These are Hallicrafter's Sky Buddies, and he had a pair of them. And then a Johnson Viking Matchbox as well. So a lot of good older gear was there, a lot of cool stuff. And then this guy, he had 2 of these kids' swimming pools, and you could fill up a bag, a standard Walmart style grocery bag for $5 with anything that he had in there. And he had some pretty good stuff out on the other screen. He had a access point, universal storage adapter, an IC38A.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just a little bit of everything in that for $5 a bag. However, stuff you could, and he almost emptied out. A lot of people picked up the cables. So he almost emptied out those 2 little pools. Then I took these pictures for Tom. There was a lot of good test equipment there. That's a IFR monitor. What do you want to call that?
Station monitor?
Station monitor. It's like an old Cushcraft kind of thing. Use it for setting up radios and stuff. And he had several. This was another one. Really nice spectrum analyzer there. And prices were really good on this stuff. I almost got that one for you, Tom. It even has the calibration sticker of 2021. So I almost got that one for you, Tom. And then this is looking back from my booth back into the area. They had, not only did they have the 2 tents, they had the field open as well. And they had a lot of folks out there. Gentleman next to me had tower sections and the fold-over tower mounts, and we had a good time visiting with him. And there's a full set of Heathkits. This was actually being sold by folks from the Faulkner County Club here. But the SB303, a 301, and a 401. So some really nice looking Heathkit gear. And then this is looking down the whole section. They had about 3 rows like this, and this was Friday, so they weren't full up yet. Here's some more of the gear. That was a really beautiful digital SWR watt meter that almost came home with me. And nice power supply below it. And then,
Powerful.
Tom, I got this one for you. And doggone it, you don't have a voice. I can't hear your reaction. What is this? Only somebody like Tom would know. And I took this picture exclusively for him. This says wireless specialty apparatus. And on dial, it says Radio Corporation of America. So it's an RCA device. And it says transmitting condenser model UC1831.
Condenser. That's a cool one.
And here is the actual description for it. It's a Faradon model UC1831 transmitting condenser, a variable capacitor consisting of two metal plates, 4 3/4 inches in diameter, separated by a 1/2 inch spacing, containing a mica dielectric. The central control knob turns the disc through 360 degrees. Designed as a series antenna condenser for CW transmitter and rated at 400 volts. Capacity ranges from 0.0001 microfarad to 0.0012. And it was from 1922's RCA catalog, Radio Enters the Home. And I just thought that was just absolutely cool. And then they had a nice, there's another Johnson Viking matchbox they had. Tom, there's your roller coils and variable capacitors and dials. A lot of good stuff there. This was Sunday morning or Saturday morning. Woke up and it was just totally dense fog. A front had come through the night before, and fortunately it only rained during the overnight hours. But when I set up, the air was so thick you literally could see the clouds flowing past you at a distance of like 3 feet. And the condensation was so thick that when I put my table out, it was actually dripping condensation after 5 minutes. It was that damp. But it was really nice and cool. But as you can see, we couldn't see a thing. Looking back the other way. And this was yesterday. We could see all that just totally clear. And then it did start to clear up a little bit later. Some more Johnson Viking gear. I had never seen an Adventurer before, but it's obviously an 80 through 10 transmitter. And it had VFO capability as well. And then
nice looking bug to the left there.
Let's see. Yeah, really nice Vibroplex. One of the original Vibroplex keyers. Okay. And then really nice Central Electronics multi-phase exciter is what this is. Basically a transmitter, I would assume. But it's pretty cool. It's got an audio frequency in and a key, so I'm going to assume it's AM and CW. And then there's another matchbox. That was about 3 of those matchboxes there.
Yeah. By the way, notice in the middle of that of that exciter, notice the cat's eye in the middle.
Yes, I love those things.
Yeah.
Those were always really cool.
Those are pretty and really intuitive.
Yeah. And then here's a gorgeous Hammerland HQ 215. And interestingly enough, I took all these pictures with my cell phone. I mean, this is just an absolutely gorgeous picture. And the radio is really, really nice looking as well. I don't think I've ever seen one of these. Then there's those Sky Buddies on the next day. Get you a closer view of those. But they are transmitters and receivers, and they got a BFO switchable. So that pretty much tells you they're AM, sideband, and CW. Mm-hmm. And he actually had a pair of them. Really nice looking radios. Boy, I wish Tom could talk, because I think he would be enjoying talking about these. Mm-hmm. And then, Tom, I put tickets in for you. We were there. Neither one of us won a darn thing. I took a picture earlier, but I didn't It really didn't come out well. The ticket barrel was literally full. You would not think that a Hamfest in the middle of nowhere, Arkansas. I mean, I drove for 2.5 hours and passed a grand total of 2 gas stations. And you would have thought that, your odds would have been really good. No, that prize barrel was jam-packed full of tickets. I mean, Tom, I don't think you stood a chance with your normal arrangements. But I darn sure didn't win anything, and the tickets that I'd earmarked as yours didn't win anything. So there it is. But there is the crowd on Saturday doing the tickets. And then there's me selling my junk with my Explorer in the back. This was Bill, N5TJI. He and I had a really good conversation. Nobody wanted these old light bulbs. I had a boatload of LED and incandescent bulbs. Nobody wanted to touch them. But I was very surprised. But that's okay. I had a nice place to sit. I had my tent canopy out for the drizzle we had on Friday. So, no, it was good. And really nice Hamfest. But as you can see, you can't even see the mountains in the background here on Sunday. Or Saturday. But anyway, that is Mina and
Cool.
all the fun that we had.
Yeah. Well, that's definitely a lot of fun. Definitely a cool Hamfest. I wish I could get to more of them. The next one in my area is not until early October.
Yeah.
So by then I'll definitely be ready to start searching for more gear.
Well, there is a really nice one coming up here. And I mean, I don't know the size or anything of the Hamfest, but on October 11th, I believe, or the 16th, I can't remember. It's the 11th. They are having one at Petit Jean State Park. And Petit Jean is always one of my favorite mountains to go visit. It's got a lot of history to it. And it's just a gorgeous place, and they're having the Hamfest over there at Petit Jean. So it's really, that's on the 11th, and then on the 16th is over in Jonesboro with the Crowley Ridge Boys. And then there's one in Nixa, Missouri in November. So a lot of Hamfest coming up here.
Cool. Well, I have some interesting things to show, some of which I buy and sell at Hamfests. But this would probably be a good time to break for the Icom commercial, so I'm going to run that next and then go on from there.
Icom's IC7760 is a pinnacle of base station excellence for amateur radio enthusiasts. Designed to deliver unmatched performance, the IC7760 features state-of-the-art technology, exceptional RF clarity, and an intuitive interface, all housed in a sleek and durable design. This base station features a separate remote control head and RF deck, providing enhanced flexibility for installation. Place the RF deck closer to the antenna feed point, freeing up space on your desk. You can also connect a control head to the RF deck through your home network, enabling remote operation from anywhere in your home without needing a PC. Pair the IC7760 with a powerful IC-PW2 linear amplifier and take your contesting experience to the next level with Icom's industry-first linear amplifier. Together, they redefine what's possible in amateur radio. For more information about Icom's amateur radios, please visit icomamerica.com/amateur.
And there you have it. There's no word yet on the IC7300 Mark II, which I've heard about a lot of interest in, but that's still not available in the U.S. yet. But I did pick up an Icom radio at Huntsville that I set up. I set up a 2730A, which is a much better UHF VHF rig than some of the newer ones that I've gotten. I got one Chinese one that I did not like because it kept breaking squelch when there was nothing to hear. And I'm very happy with that. And I'm protecting it and also the new GMRS rig that I'm installing with appropriate lightning protection, and that's the thing I wanted to talk about next. Here is the well. Let's see. Let's see how I can arrange the screen here and maybe get a better view. There we are. That's a little bit better. One thing which I strongly recommend that everybody do, if they have a rig that they value, is put lightning protection on it. And the one that I used for both the for both the UHF VHF ham rig and also for the GMRS rig is this polyphaser, which is the IS50NXC2. And I'll show you what this looks like. Just a little box here. And you can see it has end connectors on it, so it's going to work well on UHF. And you can see if you take a good look at, I don't know if I can get this in very well in focus. It shows the power ratings for the different frequencies. It can take less and less power as the frequency goes up, but it can still handle a lot. The up in the VHF range, it still can handle 125 watts, which is more than any of my rigs put out. So that actually works really well. If you take a look at the spec sheet for this, you can get an idea of a little more about what it is and what it does. I actually sell these at Hamfest, and so I frequently bring the spec sheets along with me. This shows what it is. It's a female-to-female coaxial RF surge protector, and this one goes from 125 megahertz up to 1 gigahertz. Now, polyphaser does have some which go down to HF, but if you don't need any part of the frequency range, it's better to get a lightning protector that doesn't cover it, because lightning is wideband energy, and the more of it you can just plain block, the better. Now, as it says here, it can handle at the low end of its range about 375 watts. It's in VHF. At UHF, it's it's in hundreds of watts. It has a blocking capacitor, which means that you can't use it with any accessories that require voltage to go a bias T, voltage to go up the coax. But that's generally not something that you do on UHF or VHF, so it's not a problem. They have a bracket that you can use to attach it, and it's and as it says here, you can actually twist the bracket if you want to, so you can mount it either vertically or horizontally on pretty much any surface. Now, the key thing about this, and this is if you scroll down the spreadsheet, you can see it, is how much energy it's likely to let through. And it says here that the throughput energy is 220 microjoules. And a joule is the amount of energy it takes to raise a liter of water 1 degree centigrade. And so a microjoule is a very, very small amount, and even 220 of them is not very much. So your radio is not likely to get destroyed by any surge that gets through it. And well, let's see. As you can see, they show the performance data. This is the reason why I use these. They add almost nothing to your SWR. You can see that it's between 1.1 and 1.0 all the way along. And the insertion loss, the amount of signal that you lose inside it, is darn near zero. It's not even 0.1 dB. And so it really doesn't cost you much in terms of signal strength. Here's the CAD drawing they show there, which shows exactly how it's put together. They also give the specifications here. Let's see if I can, I think I can rotate this so it's easier to see. I rotated it upside down now. There we go. Okay, now it's right side up. So now you can sort of get an idea. They give you all of this in the spec sheet, so you can use it to specify things and also to mount things. So anyway, these are extremely useful. It may have saved one or both of my radios this evening. And so I'm very thankful to be able to use these things. And let's see if I can manage to. There we are. Bring us back here, video wise. That's so that's the story on the lightning protection. I do recommend that everybody put them on their coax. Use them very liberally because they really do save you.
Yeah, years ago, I had a pair of egg beaters on my roof for satellite work, and they were homebrew, and I had built the basic mount out of PVC, and oh well, and I went up to work on them one day and noticed that the PVC end cap I used was just absolutely charred. And so apparently they had taken a lightning hit. And because I had the MFJ lightning arresters in the line, nothing got blown.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how they compare to the polyphasers, but I definitely believe in lightning arresters.
Oh yeah. I had one 2.4 gigahertz collinear antenna, basically a tall rod on top of a building near a lake, and it got hit. It must have been close to a direct hit. Because have you ever seen those cartoons where, like, where so Elmer Fudd points the rifle at Bugs Bunny and he sticks his finger in the barrel and the rifle, or so either a rifle or a shotgun, and the barrel just sort of peels open like a banana. Well, that's the way the antenna looked. It literally was peeled open like a banana by just the sheer force of the lightning.
Wow.
The electrostatic force. And amazingly, the server, which the antenna was connected to down at the bottom, survived. There were a few other fried parts along the way that they kind of got a big surge, but it really did help. And yes, there was a polyphaser down at the bottom of that one, and I think that again that probably saved us.
Yeah. Definitely need to have them, especially if you're in a place like Brett or I, where we got a lot of lightning and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And like Andy says, of course, the best protection is to disconnect the coax. But sometimes you can't always do that. If you're out of town and didn't disconnect, or if you're running some kind of a mesh network and want to leave it up all the time, you're going to have to leave it connected. So that's where your polyphasers would come into play.
Oh yeah, it would be nice if I could run up and disconnect everything anytime, but storms come in suddenly. The one this afternoon wasn't expected, and we got a very quick warning from the weather service that there might be maybe a severe storm.
Yeah.
Then we found out just how severe it was going to be.
Yeah. And that was the same thing here. I had that one rolling in here, and it's just gone. We haven't had rain in 2 weeks now or thereabouts.
Wow.
Yeah. Keeps threatening, but never happens.
Yeah. Well, this is kind of the last gasp before fall and winter out there. Yeah. So enjoy it.
Yes, very much so.
Yes, and make sure you get the tower up before winter does come in. Which reminds me, how is your tower?
It is coming at 11 o'clock Saturday or Sunday morning, and I've got a gang to help me unload and take it to the backyard. And then after I finish the book and things slow down, one of the club members has a little excavator that'll fit in my backyard, and he's offered to come and dig the hole. And since this has one of those tilt-over base plates, all we have to do is dig the hole, pour the concrete, lay the base plate level, and then we can, at a later date, tilt the base plate and literally just drag the antenna on, bolt it on, bring it up.
Mm-hmm.
So it's getting, the biggest part is it will physically be here this weekend.
Yep.
So looking forward to getting that.
Yep. And then once you've tilted the antenna upright, you then crank it. You then crank the tower up.
It actually has a winch for that. an electric winch to crank it up in height. The one that will crank it up to vertical, I'm going to have to put a pole in the ground with a pulley and fix up my own winching system so I can tilt it up and over. But actually cranks down to like 11 feet. So it's real easy to work on, get my antennas put up, and then crank it up. And it's 33 feet tall, which is exactly what I wanted, because that way I don't have to worry about guying and supporting and everything. And I don't have a lot of heavy antenna load on it. It's going to be my TA33 HF beam, and then my 6 meter, 2 meter 440 beam in vertical on top of that. And I want my 6 meter beam on the air. I love 6 meters. I can't wait to get it back on the air.
Yep. Well, 6 meters, use it while you can. As the solar cycle tapers off, it may not be as usable.
Yeah, no, it's amazing from what I'm hearing. But yeah, definitely want to get on it and play. That's going to be part of my winter plans.
Yeah, and what kind of radio do you use for 6 meters?
Let's see. I have what is it? The 991A from Icom. And if I'm not mistaken, doesn't the FT101s go to 6 meters as well? Pretty sure they do. So I've got a FT101 MP that's just sitting gathering dust, which irks the fire out of me.
Yep.
But
well, the 991A is a shack in the box. It goes clear up to UHF and VHF, so certainly it's going to cover 6 meters.
Yes. Yeah, most of my rigs are Yaesu. I do have an Icom 9700, but that's for 2 meter and 440. And let's see, what is it? I also have one of the what is it? The Zygu or something like that does 4 bands. The 6 meter is part of the bands. Was it 10, 6, 2, and 440? And believe it or not, I won that at a Hamfest, and it's still in the box. If I'm not mistaken, I won that at the Russellville. The Nixa Hamfest last fall. So.
Yeah. Well, I've never been lucky enough to win a rig at a Hamfest. I've won a couple of really little things. An HT once, an SWR meter once. I don't know. Maybe I'm saving up my luck for something bigger. But
I hit a little streak last year or earlier this year. I won 2 of those Explorer HTs and that Zygu rig. Bunch of gift certificates from ARRL and a few things like that. But I was on a roll there for a little while, and I haven't won anything since. Mainly because Tom's been going to the same Hamfest I have, and between him and Joe Eisenberg, we generally don't stand a chance.
Yeah, that's true. At least it depends on how they do the raffles. If they limit the number of tickets you can buy, then everybody stands more of a chance. But if you buy packages of tickets, the way they do at Huntsville, well, they're going to be. There are some people who are sitting there stamping all of the hundreds of tickets that they buy, and they're the big winners most of the time.
Well, I don't buy hundreds, but I do buy some extra tickets. Just because. Yeah. And Tom is sitting there in the chat saying that he won something at the Lebanon Hamfest, but they still won't tell him what it was.
Really?
Yeah.
So show up at his mailbox one day.
Yeah. But he says he's contacted him 3 times and he's never got whatever it was.
Yeah. But raffles are such an important part of Hamfests.
It really is. It's a nice way for the club to raise extra money. And at Mina, as small as you would have thought it was, they had some really good prizes. And what they do is all of the raffle ticket sales go back into next year's prize pool for buying all the prizes.
Oh,
And so basically, the better year they have this year, the more cool stuff they'll have next year. They gave away a pair of was it the Icom 7300s? They gave away a pair of those, one on Friday and one on Saturday.
wow.
Along with they gave away a bunch of good stuff. I was really hoping to win something. A lot of good stuff there.
Yeah. Well, again, I'm saving up my luck. Maybe maybe one of these days I'll actually win something significant.
Yeah.
But I don't mind contributing to the cause. I don't
No,
mind
no.
buying a few extra tickets just just to support the club.
Exactly. Back in the days when I was showing cats, the raffles were how the clubs really financed the shows. And I mean, I won some very expensive cat trees and things like that at those shows. So yeah, those are the easy way for clubs to raise money, to put on these events, because these things are not free. They cost some money.
Oh,
But,
yeah.
I will say this was one of the prettiest Hamfests that I've been to in a long time. It was really neat on top of that mountain.
Wow. So it was all outdoors. They didn't have any they probably had to they probably had to bring in porta potties and things and just set it up
No,
fest. No?
no, they actually had a building there on the grounds with restrooms. And they actually had restroom attendants there as well from the state parks.
Attendance. Whoa.
Yeah. So that the restrooms were clean, very well kept. But yeah, it was just a standard restroom building. And then it was just a field at the state park, mainly, I guess, for kids and dogs and whatnot to play in. And then they use it for events like this. It was in conjunction with the Queen Wilhelmina Lodge, which was part of the grounds there. It was right across from the locomotive there. And they say that's very nice. I was going to try to stay there, but they got booked out long before I could get in. But it's also a campground, so a lot of people camped on the premises there. So, I mean, just a really cool Hamfest all the way around.
Yeah. And of course, a lot of towns like that relied on the railroad back in the day, but
Yeah.
I don't imagine the railroad came up the mountain. Did they must have had to haul the steam engine that they had up there up the hill.
Yeah, I don't know. There you could hear since this is a major east-west route, you could hear the freight trains in the valley as they go through. But no, I think this was, back in the day, they had a train line to get up there. Or they just brought the train up there. They had a plaque, but I never got a chance to read it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, you would have thought it was a small Hamfest, but it really wasn't. It was very busy, had a great crowd. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it again next year.
Sounds good. And yeah, I'm looking forward to the next one here. As I mentioned, it's not until October, but what it's going to be is it's a Hamfest called Bark Fest, and that is located at the Boulder County Fairgrounds in Longmont, Colorado. And that always has a good crowd and a good and a good flea market. But there aren't as many out here as there are in your area, so we have to kind of wait up and make our lists and get ready for them.
Yeah. Well, we only have the few big ones. These are all small local ones. But there are several clubs in the area that are starting up with new Hamfest, so it's nice to see different junk at different places. But and I love the flea market, so I'm in heaven no matter what.
Yep. Well, I like the flea market too. I don't have much more room for flea market stuff, but you always. I'll probably swap some. I'll probably sell some to make more room.
That's where I'm at. I got to get rid of stuff so I can get stuff.
And we'll see what happens. I'm I'm just finishing up recapping a rig that I got at a swap fest, and we'll see. We'll see if I start using it or if I now pass it on to the next person.
That's kind of me. I've got a whole bunch of Heathkit stuff in my attic that's waiting to be recapped and tested and fixed up. And I just haven't had time yet. And then even if I did have the time, I'm like you, like, do I really want to give these up? I spent so much time getting them. Not sure I want to give them up just yet.
Yeah, and it's probably easier to give up things like light bulbs. But how did you accumulate so many?
That was from my old house. I transitioned from the incandescents to the LEDs, and those were all my spares of the incandescents. And then when I moved, I didn't need them, so those were basically all my pulls and spares. Because I'm a daylight light person, I'm really fussy about the light off of my bulbs. So I swapped all of the soft whites out for daylights, and that was all the swap outs of everything. And just ended up with the 2 boxes, and I'm like, I can't throw stuff away. I mean, it just hurts to throw bulbs away. It's like they still have a life. They still have a purpose. But apparently not at this Hamfest.
Maybe not at that Hamfest, but I do know a lot of people who want and like incandescent bulbs.
Exactly.
And here in Wyoming, yes, you can go to LEDs, but you really won't save that much energy because, well, most of the year we're heating the home anyway. And so any energy that comes out as heat, if your bulb is inefficient, that doesn't actually harm anything because it just goes into the energy you would have spent heating your home anyway.
Right. And as Mark P says in the chat room, the incandescents make really good dummy loads. The LEDs don't.
No, I don't think they would, actually.
No.
Yeah.
So, there are things, the good news is they are bringing the incandescents back for those that really like the incandescents. But like I say, I've transitioned my whole house to LED daylights, and it's like, not really what I want, but I'm there and I'm not going to change it.
Yep. So color temperature of about 4,000.
Yeah. 4,000 or 5,000. Basically the daylight colors. And I mean, that's just what makes my eyes happy. I've always disliked fluorescence and the soft white, the cool white. I've never liked those. They're yellow to me. So I like the bright white, the daylight. I also use the higher wattage in terms of the LED. I'm using the 100 watt equivalents, not the 60s or 40s. And I just like bright light. So.
Yep. Well, I have two 4100s hanging in front of me right now as I use the camera here, and you have to adjust the color temperature. You look you look strangely. Your skin does not look normal.
Yeah. But you can see here, even with the light I've got, it's more of a natural white. And then the ceiling fan bulbs are also daylights. So it works out good, especially when you're old like me and you're working and you need light to see things.
Oh yeah.
This is more of my office, though. This is where I type and research and things of that nature. The other room, and I'm going to do a show from that back room at some point, so you can see that workspace back in there, but it's not ready for public consumption yet.
Yeah. So it's the Arduino lab.
Yeah, right now it's a Raspberry Pi and book lab, but it's also a mesh networking lab. But yeah, it's where all of the Arduino construction, testing, all of that really takes place. And amazingly enough, the cats leave that room alone.
Wow.
This room, this desk belongs to them. and I'm very surprised that they haven't come up. But I think they know that one of them is going to the vet tomorrow. They haven't figured out which one. But Sasquatch is going to have to go get his annual shave, because he's got his winter coat coming in, and he's got cotton for a coat, and it just mats in a heartbeat. So he gets shaved every fall, and it grows back in around winter time. So he's going tomorrow, but they haven't figured out which one is going yet. So they're like, we're not going to be in that room tonight.
Oh, so they know, either intuitively or some other way.
If they see the cat carrier come inside, they're like, somebody is going to the vet or going to a show or going in the car somewhere. Now, my old show cat, if I broke out the carrier, she was like in it and is like, where are we going? Are we going to fly this time? Because whenever I broke out the small one, she knew we were flying somewhere, and she absolutely loved to fly. But driving, she enjoyed the driving, but definitely the flying was much, much better. And but anytime the carrier came out for her, she was in it, ready to go. It's like, come on, take me out to the car. Let's go. These guys, it's like, no, we're not going any place we really want to go. So when that thing comes out, you're not going to find us. They've all found their hiding places.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But unfortunately for him, Sasquatch loves people. He hates the trip. But once he gets to the vet's office, it's like he's trying to convince them to take him home. He just sucks up to them, and that's that. So they love him at the clinic. So they're going to enjoy seeing him tomorrow. But yeah, that's why nobody's here tonight. She was up here, Rodan was up here just briefly, and then she saw a fly, and that was the end of that. I generally do not have flies in this house for very long. They do not survive.
The cats are real good then at catching them.
She is fabulous at jumping, and she can take a fly down from 6 feet up, straight up. She'll take it up, swat it, knock it to the ground, and that's the end of that fly.
Wow.
So, yeah, they're real good.
Better than me. I'll chase them for half an hour.
Even with a fly swatter, I can't hit them. So.
But anyway, you were talking about your back room. This is my back room.
Yeah.
You can see it's well organized. Well, sort of in piles.
Well, let's see if I've got a picture of my back room on this computer somewhere. It'll take me a while, so go ahead and continue on, and I'll keep looking.
Yeah, there we go. Okay.
Yeah.
Now go back to the radio background.
Yeah.
But yes, keeping things organized, keeping the shack organized, keeping my desk organized. Those are all constant battles. I've got too many things. You have too many things going at one time. That's life.
Yes, very much so.
But in any case, I don't know. Just like I said, getting ready for winter, and too many projects. I've also got. I recently took on the project of converting an entire building from steam heat to electric heat, and that means engineering the entire heating system, and that's been a lot of fun too.
Oh, joy! I just had to have my air conditioner replaced.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I finally found a picture. Let's get it open here.
Okay.
And that room has changed since then. I'll explain once it gets put together here. Or once the screen comes up. This computer's got too much going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
Poor thing is getting tired. But there we go. Hopefully I shared the right picture.
Here you go.
Yeah. That is the workroom while I'm still unpacking and fixing and getting set up. on the desk, you can see the rigs on the left side of that far desk. There is now dual monitors on that desk and shelves above the monitors. And but that's the Arduino workroom, and the two workspaces there. And it's much better organized now. It's a lot cleaner, and it will be fully functional.
Yeah, I see you have the cat bed in there too.
Yeah, well, they sleep on the treadmill as well. That's also my exercise area.
Cool.
And let's see. Well, that's a PC. Can't really see it, but I have it's not in the picture. I have a 2 to 10 port antenna switch box that's network controllable. That is, I picked up at a Hamfest. I don't have the network software control. I talked to the manufacturer. They can't get it because it was kind of a very prototype specialized. They hardly sold any of them. But I deciphered it, and I'm going to be replacing that network piece with an Arduino, so it can indeed be network and remote controlled.
Ah, that's cool. So you're just going to keep the relays and replace the control circuit.
Right. And fortunately, they use really nice ribbon connectors for everything, so I can adapt my Arduino right in.
Oh, that's cool. So you can solder that So you can solder it right onto the
It'll
board.
mount inside the thing and have the network connector or however I want to connect to it, and it'll be right there.
Cool.
So, yep.
There we are. Okay.
That's the state of the lab
Mm-hmm.
for an older picture.
Yeah.
Let's see. But that's pretty much all of the pictures I have that are worth showing. I don't think we want to see the eclipse or Three Dog Night pictures.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, I can show this. Hang on. This, when we were talking about the antenna, this is one of the major reasons I bought this house.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. Keep clicking the wrong box. There we go. This is off my back deck. And you will notice this is from the back looking forward. There are no trees in this backyard. That is about, call it 100 feet from that deck to that back fence. And there is nobody behind me. That's just a little small, probably about 100 yards worth of forest. And then there's a walking trail on beyond it. But as you can see, there are no trees in this backyard, plenty of room for that tower to tilt over. And I have plenty of trees that belongs to nobody that I can hang long wires and stuff from.
Ah, beautiful.
So the tower is going to be placed somewhere right near the right side of this deck and fold down towards the back of the yard.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is one of the reasons I chose this house was there are no HOAs. There's a ham like 3 doors up the road from me. And he's got a tower up, so it's going to be beautiful. Heck, I could probably string a 160 meter long wire from his tower to mine.
You don't need to use one of those compact antennas then.
Yeah, just use a full-size 160 dipole.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can actually see his tower from my deck.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, that's one of the reasons I got this particular house. And Andy's talking about in the chat, his air conditioning went to AC heaven. Yeah, mine died on the hottest day of the year. And God bless them, the AC folks had it repaired in 2 days. So I only had to sleep in the heat for 2 nights.
Ah,
So,
well, mine got recalled
oh wow.
in the middle of summer. There's
Ooh.
a company called Midea that makes these U-shaped air conditioners where you put them in a window and then the sash comes down into the U and holds the air conditioner in the window, which
Yeah.
sounds really cool. And it actually, yeah, it works really well because there's, the window provides a lot of insulation. You only have to stuff foam in at the very bottom. And so, great idea. Except the problem is that water condensed in the bottom, and people were farming mold
Oh,
in the
ouch.
bottom of their air conditioners, and so they basically recalled all those models.
Oh man.
But they wanted proof that you had cut the cord before they gave you before they went ahead and recalled it and gave you a refund so you could buy something else. And so
Okay.
we eventually had to advance the money to get a new one because before we got the virtual credit card that reimbursed us.
Yeah. That's funny.
But
Yeah,
anyone, if
go
you
ahead and cut the cord. I'll have it spliced in 10 minutes.
Oh, that is the other thing. They asked for you to take a picture of the cut cord. Well, that's true, but I mean, who can't splice an electrical cord? So
Yeah.
if you really wanted to, if you were willing to risk having the possibility of mold, you could cut the cord, send them a picture, and then just splice it back together.
Yeah, or buy a cord that looks compatible and cut it, you know?
Possibly. I don't know how many people did that to them,
Yeah.
but they did have this fancy app which took the picture and then tried to authenticate where you were when you took the picture and
Oh wow.
do other things to prove it was genuine. But no, they couldn't. A capable technical person who's capable of putting a plug on the end of the cut cord and maybe using an extension cord.
Yeah.
I don't think they figured on that.
No. No, they did it for the average person who wouldn't bother doing that, and in my case, my original air conditioner was the original one with the house, which is 20 something years, which was very surprising.
Hmm.
And yeah, that compressor just was shorted as the day is long. And but it was like I said, it had been working hard for the 2 to 3 weeks ahead of that because those were the 100 and something degree days for 3 weeks that we had. And even in this house, as well insulated and everything as it is, that poor little thing, it was a tiny unit too. It was just overworked, and that compressor just said, I've had enough.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
yeah, but anyway, it's all working. The new one's got a 10-year warranty. It's in great shape. I'm loving it. It's actually saving me on my electric bill to a great extent. And that's just the difference in efficiency in 20 years worth of air conditioners.
Hmm.
It's much more efficient. And I can see I got it on my electric bill this month, and no, it cut it probably in half from what it was.
Hmm.
So
Well, that's good. That's good news. And as I said here, it's very hard to waste energy because we've got a cool climate, and so
yeah,
anything that dissipates heat actually helps you by heating your home.
right.
Right now it's 47 degrees outside. I'm just looking at my thermometer, but it's 75 degrees inside the house just because of all the devices that are running. We don't have the heat turned on.
Yeah,
It's just everything electric.
it's 80 degrees here at night. It was like 94 this afternoon,
Hmm.
and
Wow.
it's going to be that way for another week or two. So
Mm.
we had our false fall. Now we're going into the final summer, and then we will have true fall starting in about a week and a half.
There you go.
So
Okay.
yeah,
So,
we've got about 15 seasons here.
mhm. Yep. So, any other technical or ham radio topics we want to cover? We don't have to go all the way to what 8:30 or 9:30 or half past the hour necessarily. But what else do we want to cover tonight?
Let's see. That's pretty much it for me. Like I say, I've been working on the book more than anything else, updating it, for the microwave networking. And I mean, that's really looking like it's going to be the future for a lot of the Arduino stuff, is going with the technology like Meshtastic into the ISM bands for networking, remote control, messaging. It's looking really cool. And the nice thing is you don't have to have a license for it. And it's really easy to use. And it's really going to be ideal for remote control, telemetry, anything you can imagine that would benefit from having its own little microwave mesh network, linking webcams and things like that all together.
Yeah, it's not going to be high bandwidth. I don't even know if it can handle the video from a webcam by itself. But it'd be cool to have it around your house for little remote control things, for the thermostats, for other things that you just don't want to wire, as long as it, as long as it's reliable enough.
Yeah.
It'd come in very, very handy.
But they're actually working on some codecs that will let you, it's like 38 kilohertz bandwidth at max. And they're actually working on audio streaming with some very high compression codecs that'll get it down, that'll fit a 3K bandwidth. And then the video is more like your stop action video, just a series of stills. I think, terms I've heard were like 9 frames a second was where they were working with.
So very slow scam TV.
So slow, yeah. But if you think about it, if it's like for weather out on a tower somewhere, looking over a valley, monitoring for fire or something, that would be, 1 frame a minute would be acceptable.
Yeah, for a security camera, probably, especially if it was motion activated and it wasn't doing it all the time, then it'd probably be adequate.
Yeah. But, that's the one weakness that it has, is it's not really capable of audio yet, and there are some development kits out available for that now, and of course the video is lacking as well. But look at where we come with everything else. It'll be only a matter of time before they get that figured out as well. And like I say, I like the telemetry remote control aspect of combining it with the Arduino, since most of this Meshtastic runs on an ESP32 to begin with. So it's really, it's got a lot of potential, and I see it becoming very popular in that experimentation arena. I think the Arden technology is still going to be the best for your overall video and audio, things of that nature. Because it's running, 40, 50 meg and higher, 100 meg bandwidth, so it'll handle multiple streaming video channels, etc. That's why the IP phone system works wonderful on it. So,
do you think Arden's going to continue to offer a mesh, or are they going to drop that completely?
No, they sort of still offer it in what they call their ad hoc mode, but they're really going to a structured type network, non-mesh, of the remote units communicating with the central unit, and then that central unit trunks it to another central unit, and they're all static environment scenarios. But in a highly dense population area like California, they use it for monitoring for fires and things of that nature. And so they've got mountains and long distance links. And so they've got a lot of potential and benefit from using those microwave networks. So,
yeah, they certainly do. And the point-to-point links are useful because in those densely populated areas, the unlicensed bands are very crowded.
Yes.
They need high-gain antennas going point-to-point just to make the link at all.
Right. And see, fortunately, both on 2.4 gig and on 5 gig, we have our own private frequencies for hams. So we don't have the general public on those channels.
Yep. Does the restriction on business use cause any problems with that if they're monitoring a business or something like that?
Well, yeah, you can't, it's subject to the same Part 97 rules. If you're operating in the ham portion of the band under ham rules, it's the same thing. You can't do it for a pecuniary interest. You have to ID every 10 minutes, things of that nature. So it's, still that. Now, on the Meshtastic, no. That uses the industrial, scientific, and medical bands, which are open to everybody. There's no licensing required there, so you can do whatever you want on those bands.
Yep, that's Part 15.
Yeah, but the problem is a lot of our stuff was going into the 3.4 gig band, and the FCC is basically trying to get us out of that band and give it to somebody else. And they're currently reevaluating that, but they have issued an order that, at some point we're going to lose the 3.4 gig band. And it's just a question of, will that order stand? Can the ARRL and everybody get it reversed? But right now everybody's planning that at some point we're going to lose the 3.4 gig. And that was a really quiet band for those point-to-point links.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody's moving up to 5 and 10 gig now.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, 10 gig, you've got to go point to point. So
Yeah.
That's going to be what they use. It's not going to be a mesh up at 10 gig.
Right. But at the end of the day, they've discovered that there's a lot more routing issues with a mesh style network than they anticipated.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the reasons they're moving away from the mesh style networking.
Mm-hmm.
And going to this point-to-point hybrid style network, a more static network.
Yep.
Because I think they found that the routing was changing too much for the routing protocols to handle it, even if they're loop avoidance protocols. They just couldn't keep up.
Yep. Well, as a wireless ISP myself, I don't do mesh because the customers wouldn't be satisfied with the bandwidth. So yeah, we have to do that in the commercial networks as well.
Yeah. But I mean, still, it's going to be popular for experimenters and things of that nature. And who knows? There's new technology and new adaptations coming along every day. So, who knows how it's and where it's going to go? But that's at the cutting edge of research and development for ham radio at that level right now. And it's pretty cool.
Yep. Sounds good. Well, anyway, unless there are any announcements, any events coming that you want to...
No, I think it's that Petty Jean Hamfest at Petty Jean Mountain State Park in Arkansas on October 11th, but I think that's my next Hamfest of any importance.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, as I mentioned, the next one here is not until October. That's going to be interesting, and then there's going to be a regional Hamfest in I believe somewhere in the middle of Colorado, and that's going to be later in October. But for the moment, I'm just hunkering down, working on antennas and fighting the sudden hailstorms.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
about that time for us.
Yeah. Well, anyway, let's hope that Tom will be back next week. I hope he's able to recover from whatever issues he's had. They, as for those who haven't been following, Tom had a disc replaced in his neck. That's very delicate and complex surgery, and they have to they actually have to move your trachea, and so you can have trouble speaking. So let's hope that by next week Tom is able to get back on the air.
Yeah, hopefully. I think he said the doctor's going to be prescribing him some steroids to help.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully he can start talking again soon.
Sounds good. Well,
But-
in the meantime, I guess that's pretty much all we have. So thanks everyone for joining. Thank you, Glenn, for bringing the pictures and then other interesting information. And I guess we'll see everybody next week, hopefully with Tom on the webcast as well.
All right. Take care.
7-3.
So you're saying I can ask this cat any question?
The cat is connected to the computer. You just type in the question, it will read his mind. There the answer comes.
You're the man! I've been looking for this for weeks.